Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 free sewing patterns for summer. I did a similar video to this for winter and you guys seem to really enjoy it. So I went online and I found 10 patterns that I would love to make for the summer season. Now, some of these are new to me patterns that I'm really excited about, and some of these I have seen before and made before and know are good. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and share with you, in no particular order, 10 free sewing patterns for summer. So I'm going to start with two patterns from a website that I have mentioned on my channel before, and that is fabricstore.com. Now, this is a website that primarily sells linen fabric, but they also have quite a large catalog of free sewing patterns. One thing to note, you do have to print the patterns out and tape them together at home, and all of the instructions for these sewing patterns are written in a blog format. So it will direct you to a blog post on how to construct a collar or a blog post on how to construct a waistband, sort of. You have to piece the instructions together a little bit, but they do give you the steps and the links for the instructions in the correct order on the pattern instruction page, if that makes sense. So I'm going to share with you two patterns, one of which I have made before. I'm actually wearing them today, not that you can see very well, but that is the Magda Pants, which are also called their crisp linen pant pattern. And I really love the silhouette of these pants. The leg is slightly cropped. It has a tapered leg where it's a little bit wider at the top, and there are two pleats at the top, and then the leg tapers down really nicely. It also has these inseam pockets. And one thing to note that I think is really cool about this free pattern is that basically all of the seams in the construction of the pants are flat felled. And so if you're a beginner and you're just searching for some free patterns to try out to kind of get a better understanding of how to make simple garments, this pattern is really great because you don't have to have a serger and you can make a fully enclosed, really successful, long-lasting garment. So I think that's a cool feature of these pants. The waistband is interesting. The pattern instructions have you do sort of 3 narrow channels and then feed small elastic through each of those channels to create a stretchy waistband, but it's like 3 individual pieces of elastic. I did that initially, and I had sort of a strange fit where I felt like the bottom elastic sat where my body curved and then the other 2 stood up straight, and I didn't really like how the waistband had that shape. So what I ended up doing was taking that out, and you could do 1 wide piece, but I didn't have that at the time, so I just did 2, like an inch maybe instead of the little narrow ones. So I have 2 channels of a slightly wider elastic, and I think that for me personally, that sits better on the body and they stand up straight and stretch together as a waistband should. Whereas I found that the 3 really narrow pieces of elastic, the 3 channels, the bottom one sort of curved and then the other 2 stood up. So it's just something to note that the waistband instructions are interesting, but you could very easily just do 1 channel and 1 wider piece of elastic at the top, and that would be a little bit more straightforward to sew as well. So I love these pants. They're very comfortable. I made mine in this like navy, it's actually a lightweight canvas fabric that I got from Joann. And I'll insert a picture of me wearing the pants so you can see better the fit and everything. But yeah, very comfortable, get a lot of wear. These were actually one of the first pairs of pants that I made in my sewing journey, and the instructions were great and I still wear them. So definitely a successful pattern. Okay, so the second pattern from fabricstore.com is the Fay Linen Duster. This is a really cool pattern, basically for a robe, right? I mean, you could layer it easily over clothing, but I think that a linen robe for home use in the summer is a really like luxurious thing to make for yourself. I would love to make one of these. And it looks really clean and modern, and I love the wider sleeves. I just think that this pattern looks incredibly comfortable to lounge around in the summer. It could even be a pool cover up. Yeah, I love the idea of making a linen robe for the summer, and it's free. So I wanted to mention that one as well. Okay, the next website that I want to mention that I'm pulling 2 free patterns from is Grasser. Now, Grasser is a Russian source of sewing patterns that I actually have not tried before, so I cannot speak to the quality of the fit or the instructions. However, they do have a section of their sewing patterns that are free, that again, similar to the fabricstore.com, you download a PDF and then you have to print the pages and tile them together before you cut out your pattern piece. But a great free resource, and I think they have a lot of really like trend focused designs in their sewing patterns, which is great. I pulled specifically 2 skirt patterns that I'm really intrigued by and that I would love to try out. I think to note as well about these downloads is you download an individual size, whereas with the Fabric Store, the PDF download, you have the full size range. So that's something to consider too if you're thinking about grading between sizes. You might need to download 2 different files. That aside, the first skirt that I want to mention is called the Silk Skirt, and they're all numbered. So this one is number 669. I think that a simple silk skirt is a classic forever piece, but it's also very on trend at the moment, and it's something that I don't have. And I would love to try this pattern. I think it would be really easy to go and grab some silky, like, a polyester blend fabric that's relatively inexpensive in order to try this pattern out. And I think that if the fit is good, it would be really successful. So looking at the product photos on the Grasser site, as well as the line drawing, it almost looks like it's a one-piece construction. Like there's a single seam in the back. And so my assumption is that your pattern piece would be one like large piece that you sew together at the back, which would be a very simple construction to sew up. It would take very little time. So that's really interesting. I'm intrigued to download this one and see exactly how this skirt is constructed. But again, it's a really classic silhouette and definitely one that I want to give a try for this summer. And it's free. The next skirt pattern that I want to share from Grasser is, it's called Skirt number 1079. So Skirt 1079. And again, this is in their free pattern selection. And I really like this silhouette. I think it might be intended for jersey fabrics. It looks like from these product photos that it would work really well in a soft drapey knit fabric, as well as a woven. And I love the body of it. It's, again, a very simple construction, this skirt, where it has a few panels that are sewn together and then there's an elastic waistband at the top. But this is a longer, kind of more relaxed, a little bit of a lower rise fit on this skirt. And I think it would be another really great option for summer when it's hot and you just want the breezy, flowy option of wearing a skirt. And this looks like a really great one. Another thing to note about the patterns from Grasser is that you choose your size, but because the patterns are single size downloads, you also choose your height group in order to find specifically which pattern to print out. So I think that's kind of helpful and something to note. Number 5, this pattern comes from SEAMWORK. And again, SEAMWORK has a huge variety of patterns, and they have a smaller subsection that are available for free. So if you're interested in trying out a SEAMWORK pattern, you could start with the free one and see if you like the instructions, if you like the fit, etc. So this one is called the Sorbetto top, and I think it would be perfect for summer. I particularly like the sleeveless view, this kind of bright red-orange that they have here. It says, "This classic top is quick and easy to make with no closures to sew, no buttons, no zips, and a relaxed fit inspired by the easy elegance of the early 1960s. So I really like this design. It has a box pleat in the center that makes, kind of a simple top a little bit more elevated with the extra detail that I really like. And it also has bust darts for shaping to get a better fit, which is great. And there's also a version that has sleeves. So I think this would be a great option. I like the sheer version as well that they show. And again, I'll put up some pictures, but the one that struck me was this really bright orange version. Not that I would make orange necessarily for myself, but that silhouette with the sleeveless view and the round neck and the box pleat, I think that it's a really elevated, simple top that would be a great option for a summer sewing project. The next free pattern comes from a new to me source for sewing patterns, and that is fairandsimple.com. It's sort of written as like a blog post style of presenting you with the pattern. It's for a simple shift dress, and this one stood out to me because I've seen a lot of people make the, what is it called? The Elizabeth Suzanne Georgia? It might be the Georgia boxy tee or dress. And then there are a few other patterns that are very similar to this design where the body and the sleeve are kind of one piece, and then there's like a cuff that goes on the end to kind of cap the sleeve, if that makes sense. I'll insert some pictures as well of the line drawing. But it's a really simple construction because you have the front body piece and the back, and there's not a separate sleeve piece. The sleeve is a grown-on sleeve. That's the right word. And yeah, a basic shift dress for summer. Again, breezy, wonderful in linen, very comfortable, but also very chic. And this is a very popular silhouette. So I wanted to mention this as a free resource for you if you're looking to make that style of dress. So again, this is another really great pattern for beginners. I know that when I was just starting out with sewing, didn't want to invest a lot of money into buying these patterns. Can sometimes be quite expensive, and I did a lot of research to try and find free patterns so that I could learn how to sew without spending a lot of money. And now that I have, several years of experience of sewing quite regularly, and I'm sort of at a point with my wardrobe where the majority of it is handmade, I still really highly rate and value these free sewing patterns. They taught me how to sew. They introduced me to so many different techniques and fits and styles. And I think that for beginners, using free sewing patterns, you just learn so much. It's such a great resource. So that aside, that was the, what are we calling it? DIY simple shift dress pattern for Dressember. I guess that was an event that was happening. It wouldn't be a free patterns video if I didn't hop over to peppermintmagazine.com and peppermintmag.com. They have a good variety, a good selection of free sewing patterns, and they're all done in collaboration with indie sewing pattern designers. So it's a great way to try out a new to you indie pattern designer by doing by making one of these free Peppermint collab patterns. So the first pattern that I want to mention from Peppermint is from issue number 22, and that is this free boxer short pattern. Now, I don't know about you if you're interested in wearing these as actual shorts. I know that is a very popular, trendy thing to do now, to wear actual boxers as your shorts. And it is a cool look. It is a very chic, relaxed, easy breezy summertime look. But for me personally, I 100% would just sleep in these and lounge around the house in them. I've actually purchased like men's cotton boxers to sleep in. So why not make my own? Are 100% cotton. They're loose. They're comfortable. Yeah, I love wearing boxer shorts around the house. So I think that it would be a great use of cotton scraps that you have or linen scraps that you have, because there's not a lot of fabric required to make these. And I think personally I might leave off the buttons. I don't know. I mean, maybe if I wanted to wear them out as like a nod to the boxer, but I'm actually wanting them to be shorts, include the buttons, but otherwise I think I would probably leave them off just for, comfort. It says this pattern comes courtesy of the lovely measure twice, cut once pupil. Another source of sewing patterns that is new to me that I will be checking out, but I wanted to mention the free boxer shorts pattern from Peppermint. Okay, the next pattern from Peppermint that I wanted to note is the Valley Jumpsuit. I really like this pattern and I have come back to it so many times that I think I just need to make it. The jumpsuit itself is a fairly straightforward, like kind of simple design, but that's what I like about it. And it's interesting because the product photos feature this kind of like almost crispy looking, probably some sort of cotton, and it's got a print on it, which is, it's lovely. But the vision that I see for the version that I would make would be probably like a light flowy linen, maybe like a viscose linen, so it had a lot of drape and movement to it, and something in like a neutral, like a black or a cream. And I think this would be really beautiful in, as I said, a looser, drapier fabric that was still really breathable and lightweight for summer. And a jumpsuit is pretty involved. I mean, you're basically making pants and a top that are joined, right? So if you're a beginner, you would learn a lot from tackling a project like this. It would be a great intro to making pants if you haven't done that before to make a jumpsuit. So this is definitely one that I would consider for a summertime project. Okay, the next website that I've pulled 2 patterns from, these are the final 2 for my video today, is Unfettered Patterns. Now, this is a blog where an individual is sharing free sewing patterns. She says, "Hi, I'm Zelina. Welcome to my blog where I share free and trendy sewing patterns. I'm a professional pattern maker with over 10 years of experience, and I hope you find it useful." So that's fantastic. Someone who has experience with pattern making, who's making trend forward sewing patterns available for free. Great resource. I have plans to make many of the free patterns from this site. I haven't yet, so again, I can't talk about fit or instructions, but 2 that I wanted to mention today for summer. The first is the shorts leggings or the bike shorts pattern. I think these are fantastic for summer, for exercise, for lounging, just to wear because they're comfortable on the everyday basis. I really enjoy a bike short, and this looks to be a very simple construction as well. I don't think there's a side seam, so I think you would just make the seam would just be on the front and the back, and there wouldn't be a seam on the side. So again, really simple construction, probably just 2 pattern pieces. It looks like there's a folded over elastic for the waistband. If you've ever made the Anna Allen Pomona pant, similar design, right? One leg piece that has both the front and the back, and they're just joined at the center, which would make for a very quick project. And again, this could be great if you have some like cotton jersey scraps, because it wouldn't take very much fabric. And then you'd have a very breathable, very comfortable, great for being active in the summer pair of shorts. So I wanted to throw that one out there. And the second one from Unfettered Patterns that I really like and would love to try is called the Kimono Shirt. So one thing to note about the patterns on Unfettered is that they're categorized by difficulty level. So the bike shorts pattern is in the like beginner friendly, and then this next pattern is in the intermediate sewing skill group. So that's something to note. But this pattern is called the Kimono Shirt, and it looks really breezy and beautiful for summer. I love a button-down shirt. I wear them honestly most days, and in the summer I love to layer them over tank tops and things as well. So I have a lot of button-up shirts in my wardrobe, and they're in heavy rotation. I get so much wear out of my button-up shirts, and this one looks really beautiful. I also think it has a grown-on sleeve, which is interesting. Inserting a sleeve into the sleeve head can sometimes be a little bit difficult as a beginner because there's an excess of fabric in the sleeve that you kind of have to fit at the shoulder without getting like creases and things. So, yeah, for a beginner, I think that a grown on sleeve is a really great option. And other than that, there's a button band and a collar, which, if you haven't tried those before, might be fun to try on something like this for summer. And I love the fabric that they chose for the sample. I think a lightweight, breezy cotton or linen would be ideal. And I think that this is one I may have to give a try. So, those are the 10 free sewing patterns for summer that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that this video has been interesting. I hope you found a couple of pattern resources that you didn't know about before. I know that I did in doing research for this video. If you did enjoy today's video, please do consider giving it a like and hitting that subscribe button below. It really helps out my channel. And if you're curious about the shirt that I'm wearing today, it is a recently finished, lovely blue linen button-up shirt. This is the Closet Core Jenna shirt. I have a video about the process of making the Jenna shirt. If you're interested, I can link that below. And I got this linen from Beaten Linen, which is a Canadian kind of slow fashion brand that unfortunately was closing down. And so all of their linen was on sale for like very, very, very affordable price. And I picked some of this lovely sky blue up and I made my Jenna shirt, and it is wonderful. I think I will be wearing it all summer. So thank you again so much for watching, for spending some time with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.